And when you're doing that, right? When you're fighting for your life essentially in those trenches, like that's become such a lifestyle, right? You're out here, like I said, you meet your wife, you have your kids out here. This is home. 11 years, this is what you do. And a cool thing about Next Man Up is I've gotten to talk to a lot of legends. And somehow this season, the trend has been people talking about how hard it's been to retire, how hard it was to leave the game. Was it hard for you to leave the game? Because I mean, I gotta imagine after over a decade of playing, there probably wasn't much left on the table for you to eat. Like you pretty much finished your food. Is that how you felt?
I mean, I think you don't sit at that seat for as long as you do without thinking you can do more, right? And so, I didn't think I would play 1 year, let alone 11, right? And it's kind of, you hear about the statistics of the average NFL career is 3.4 years, right? And so I always was in the moment and understanding and appreciating, what it was that I had and continuing to be on this roster. That being said, my career ended based off of an injury. Second game of the year, I tear my hamstring off the bone. It was kind of like the perfect scenario, right? I was old, I was, relatively expensive, and I was injured, right? So I kind of knew walking off that field at FedEx Field during that time that this might be the last time I ever play football. That being said, I'm thankful for my time. This game has been too good to me and my family to be bitter about it. But I would have liked to have the opportunity to go out there and compete for my own self to see, hey, am I still good enough to go out there and play, right? And I think with a lot of legends and a lot of people that retire, right, like it's easy to get bitter about things, but you have to know in this business, like nobody really gets to go out on their own terms, right? Like that's like a Disney movie, right? So you kind of know that getting into it, right? So I appreciate the time and the moments that I had, knowing that it would come to an end, but I'm not going to turn my back or get bitter about a game that I love, that I enjoy being around, and it has done so much for me and my family.
And like you said, everybody knows everything comes to an end, right? Like everything you do, no matter it's NFL or not, it does come to an end. But it doesn't make it easier to deal with in real time, right? Like especially when you suffer an injury where you're like, dang, I still had a little more left in the tank. How did you deal with that? How did you overcome those feelings, those thoughts, those maybe sometimes regrets? How did you deal with that post career?
Obviously, my kids were, I have four children, two boys, two girls. All they know is dad. You know what I'm saying? So like, I can sit there and mope around all I want to, but giving, obviously, and I say this, like I was always around. You know what I mean? I hear players talk about, oh, I was able to kind of re-engage with my family when I got done playing. I was already engaged, but it allowed me to kind of experience life from a new vantage point, right? Because since I was, let's just say high school, for instance, right? That's 8 years, high school, college, 11, for like 20 plus years, like I had this 6 month block of time that was taken away from me, right? So I can remember my first football season being out. I see people kind of like hanging out on Friday nights and kind of walking their dogs. I'm like, what is this? Like, oh, this is called a weekend, right? But because my Fridays were like, get your massage, get your stretch and get your body right so that you can play on Sunday, right? And then Mondays and Tuesdays, you going into the facility, putting the previous games, film to bed, and then Tuesdays an off day where you just kind of go run some errands and stay in the bed getting ready for next week. So um it was this huge block of time that had now presented itself to me. And so I think I was able to kind of enjoy um, you know, enjoy everything that was around me, because when you're playing football, like you're so centered on that week's opponent in the season that a lot of other stuff that's going on, you're just oblivious to,